Hi, this is Coach Amy from Brain Train School of Positivity. I'm one of the senior coaches of Brain Train School, and welcome to our Law School Masterclass. We're giving you this free session because we want you to understand what are the things that you are investing yourself with. Definitely, because there are a lot of different there are different memory institutions that would claim that they can give you or transfer the skills to you as long as you pay this X amount of money. And usually it's group classes. We also have to understand that each person has a different learning curve, and you also have a different set of academic requirements, or you have a different need. So that's why we believe that one-on-one sessions are most effective. But this is an online video on demand because it's for free, at least just to give you a background of what you have to go through. Because what we have experienced, if the assessment or the free masterclass is scheduled, usually there will be cancellation or conflicts, which it's not able to push through. But here, you can access this anytime, and then when you're interested, that's the time you can meet the coach or explore the possibility of undergoing the program. If you have questions, you can just simply message us on the page. We can give you a call to explain it further, or we can discuss via chat. Now, this is Coach Amy again from Raging School of Positivity. Just to give you a background why I'm the one implementing this program, I have been a power memory practitioner for almost 14 years because I started this when I was first year college, when I was taking up nursing as a course. Memorization was a bit of a challenge for me because at the end of the day, I understand that there are a lot of concepts that I need to remember, and retention is very important, and retention is not taught in school. Thus, I was able to nurture it at the same time, hone the skills, and it became my advantage. It became my edge in academics. I finished my master's degree in business administration, and now currently I'm enrolled in law school to understand and test drive if the techniques do work and if it's relevant to the study of law. What happened is, here I am already in the 4th year of law school, and well, by God's grace, with everything that I've been doing and juggling a lot of things at the same time, that this speaks a lot on what are the techniques for and how techniques could help you and work it out. We understand and acknowledge as well that not all law students are full-time, that they can dedicate their time and attention in studying. I am also a working student and I don't do it full-time. So here's my evidence that I'm a student in where I live, and I have an 8:30 to 4:30 job. I'm part of the Technological University of the Philippines, Visayas, as a business development officer. So I clock in 8:30, clock out 4:30. That's a whole day job. But on top of that, I am also the Chief Executive Officer or CEO of Golden She International Manpower Company, which is situated in Ross Boulevard, and it is an overseas Filipino worker recruitment agency. We send people overseas, and that requires a lot of attention. It also inspired me to take up law school because it's also beneficial for our company. Like if destiny permits or if my fate permits, I become a lawyer. But the very important reason why I took up this endeavor, this difficult journey, though I am managing the business apart from Golden She, I'm also the president of Brain Train School of Positivity, which is catering to the students all over Philippines and abroad. We're also registered in America as Brain Train Learning Systems USA, and we're also registered in New Zealand as Brain Chat New Zealand. So there are a lot of things that is going through for the day, and we also understand how toxic and demanding and how jealous law school is, and that really would eat your time, and we only have 24 hours a day. At the end of the day, it's not just about your time about reading. Everybody could read. Most of my classmates could read also, especially if they're full-time. But at the end of the day, the exams will measure your retention. How much information can you retain? You cannot understand something that you cannot remember. So the concept here is that the mental cabinet making or the organization of information in your head is very important. They would say, no, it's not necessary to really memorize it verbatim. But at the end of the day, you would understand when you're supposed to cite a legal basis, you cannot just do it according to how you understood it, or paraphrase the question, or paraphrase the whole paragraph because that would totally change the meaning of what you're trying to convey. And there are also terminologies that are too technical that if ever you do not use that proper word, you cannot construe the statute or the law according to how it should be. There are also maxims, legalese terms. There's a lot of definition of terms, especially when you encounter civil law. If you are a first-year student, this is a very good decision because why? You're still going to encounter your criminal law. Your criminal law would really entail a lot of remembering, especially with the elements and requisites. Come your criminal too, it would be a series of remembering all the crimes, the possibility of those crimes, the elements that composing to it, and requisites to qualify that to that crime. Okay, so it's like this. It's like you're trying to segregate the waste, and you all put them into one dump site. It's your brain. So no matter how you organize the information and organize your review where you try to write it so that you can remember it, at the end of the day, it will all be dumped to your brain. And you have time constraint. You're bound to time. You need to recall things fast. So for you to be able to do that, you need to have a certain ability to organize this information in your head so that you know where to pick up the information. You know that you were able to encounter such information, but where did you put that? So it's like this analogy. Visualize with me. Like you are trying to get the laundry, you put it all you put all this laundry inside your cabinet without folding them, without segregating them, without organizing them. Then here comes a party, you were invited to go to the party, and let's say the motive is emerald green. You know that you have an emerald green cocktail dress, but where is it? So the tendency is you're going to look for it there in your cabinet. Then your tendency is you will be late for the party, or you don't want to go to the party at all eventually, because of course at the end of the day you can't find it. The same thing with studying. You try to dump in everything in your brain, and at the end you want to get this certain information, but you cannot find it. You knew that you read about like the certificate of non-forum shopping. You know the difference between the error of judgment between error of judgment and error of jurisdiction, but you cannot just put it out to words because you can't remember everything. There are those that are gifted with very good retention. They can recall the information easily because they have focus. But not everyone is given the privilege to be able to do full-time study. Others have to work so that they have money for them to send to support their law school study. Okay, so what do we do with brain change? We will be able to help you with the mental cavity formation. I understand that the methods may be familiar to some. So if you think that you've seen this already before, or you've gone through different memory institution, you know what is different from us because we customize the techniques relevant to your needs. And the one-on-one coaching, the live coaching with the coach, real-time coaching is the advantage. We have 7 coaches available. We are also very flexible to the time that that is most convenient with you, because we work in shifts. There are coaches that would be catering even after work because we understand that most of the students are working and would prefer a 5:30 onwards kind of schedule. Okay, so this is it. It's stopped. Okay, we count on your honesty. So just so that we can measure properly if you're able to think, for us to be able to measure how is your memory, and also for yourself, I am encouraging you to make sure that you put your hands together or not. Don't copy at all. Don't copy, don't have a notebook, because you just need to know this to yourself. How much information can you retain in a minute? So I'll be flashing to you an information. I am not just going to flash it. So it's not just going to be something that you can see visual. It's also auditory. You will also be listening to the word. So it's both seeing it and listening to it at the same time. Okay, so I have also live performances. If you go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/braintrainingschool, one word, and I can flash that later and type it in so you can go and visit, or you can go to our YouTube channel. Just look for Brain Train School, Brain Train _school, and or it's just Brain Train School, you can find our channel and you will be able to see live performances of our students, because at the end of the program, we require students to do it live so that we can simulate the feeling of being nervous. It's like, because if there's no pressure, you think that, okay, the techniques are manageable. But if there is what you call the pressure, the time pressure, then you're able to see how effective it is. Okay? So before that, let me just mute the notifications. Okay, so are you ready? We will be flashing to you 30 items. You have to remember them in order because we are told to think chronologically, or that's how we are designed. We have to think chronologically, okay, in a chronological order. So ready? Let's get started. You only have 3 seconds to file the items. Ready? How much information can you hold? Let's get started. Let's start. Knife. Passion. Computer. Superman. Orange. Wisdom. Courage. Television. Salad. Love. Frame. Moon. Ocean. Universe. Trophy. Monkey. Shopping. Lemon. Cookies. Book. Okay, that's it. Let's try to recall. Okay, when we try to recall, let's see if we can do it randomly. What is after frame? Can you still remember? It's okay if you can. No worries. What is before trophy? What is in between orange and courage? Okay, let's try to do it together in order. What's after knife? Okay. It's okay, it's okay. Okay, how about if you do it reverse? Start from book. What is before book? It's fine. But did I mention the word cat? Did I mention the word table? But did I mention the word moon? Did I mention the word Superman? How about Batman? You see, that's a good thing. We know what is mentioned and is not. So meaning to say, we know that what are those topics that we have read and encountered, and we know what are those things that we have not encountered. But even if we encounter those words, we still cannot organize them in our heads, right? So that's the disadvantage. Now, I'm introducing you to the techniques that we have. You are also aware that yes, it's going to be images. That's the language of the brain. When you try to read all the novel, at the end of the day, you don't read each letter. It's all transposed into a setting, a character, an event. And while you're reading a book, it's like you're trying to also watch a movie, because that's why there are a lot of movie adaptations of novels. It's like also reading the news, you can get to understand. But have you experienced that when you try to read, you have to read it again because you do not understand what it's trying to say? If you do not understand what it's trying to say, that means to say your brain is not able to visualize. So meaning to say the understanding could have been impeded. There's a hindrance in the understanding. The brain should be able to visualize and understand in order for it to understand. How can you understand something you can't remember? Always remember that. So we need to have hacks. Even if you think it's not, like for example, this is time consuming and everything, but you know that if there is certain hacks that could help you out. Okay? So let's try. Are you ready? I want you to not think of anything else. I want you to focus your attention. Let's enjoy. At the end of the day, the real language of the brain is fun. It's creative thinking. That's the highest form of thinking skills. Memorization is deemed to be the lowest form of thinking skills, but it's the foundation. Before you go to the peak of all the thinking skills, you need to make sure that your foundation is very secure, because your foundation is going to be vocabulary. You cannot compare, contrast, or explain when you do not understand how that word functions. And there's a lot of definition of terms for law school in the topics or in the study of law. Okay, so let's try this. I don't want you to refer on the flat image. Again, do not refer on the flat image. It is simply to distract you. The flat image is simply just to guide you what you want, but you have to recreate these images in your head. So you have to have fun. Okay, so this tree is not just a flat tree, it's an actual tree. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you can think of your whooping willow. So the whooping willow tree is moving. The person that you see there is a principal. Anybody that you know, your principal in high school, your grade school principal, the principal of your children, or your neighbor is a principal, a relative that's a principal, you know that when you visualize that person, it's a principal. So it's either the tree's puking that principal, or he's trying to strangle the principal. Any interaction that he can do, as long as it's very vivid or clear in your mind. Ready? Next. So this is Bill Gates. Make sure that you know Bill Gates. If you don't know Bill Gates, you can just think of Billy Crawford or somebody you know whose name's Bill. So as long as you see Bill Gates, so it's the principal trying to poke his nose. He's trying to clean the booger out of the nose. Ready? Yes. So our next one, it's your passport. Make sure that there's the cringe, because it's trying to eat your passport. So it's trying to tear it apart and trying to eat it. So that you have to feel the cringe. You have to see the cringe. Like, oh my gosh, that's my passport. Take it off. So you have to see that instant. You need to be involved so that their imagination is very good. Now, Coach Amy's imagination is too corny. How can that be connected to the study of law? Later, we'll find out. But you have to understand, when we say imagination, when you try to search that online, the very first person that comes out from the search are like Albert Einstein. They said that imagination will take you everywhere. Logic will take you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. And intelligence is creativity, having fun. So if you are an intelligent person, if you want to be intelligent, you just need to have fun. You need to love what you're doing, be passionate about it. So if law is serious, there's a way for us to just have fun out of it. Okay? So let's go. Carry on. So now this passport, try to visualize it that it is used as a surfboard. So it's really your passport, make it giant. A surfer is trying to use it as a surfboard. So it's your surfer and passport. Now, leave the passport. Don't think of the passport, just the surfer. And the surfer is trying to collect chopped legs. So it's all bleeding. Right? So you have to be more radical, bizarre, and out of this world, because the brain gets to register things that are out of this world. They don't like normal things. That's why when you swipe through your Facebook stories, if it's something really relevant or weird, you get to stop to that and get curious how it is, because that's how the brain works. That's our reticular activating system, our switch on and off. That's the on and off switch of the brain. It dictates what it wants and what does not, or what are the things that it doesn't want. So you just simply spit it out. Like you just get sleepy in the middle of a discussion because you're not interested. But if you're interested with the topic, no matter how boring the voice of your teacher is or how boring things are, but because you're interested, you're focused. Okay? So now you have to visualize yourself. You're the one chopping all these legs and putting them inside the suitcase. Good. Relieve the experience. Then you try to, smash this suitcase to the head of the judge. So whoever judge you have, if you're thinking of your professor, he won't know anyway. So as long as there's somebody that you know is a judge, you can either poke it. Why do you have to really be brutal or violent about it? Because you want to make it significant. You just can't place it to something in front of him, because a judge can always carry a suitcase, right? So if you try to banter him, it's just a banter. You try to poke him with or hit them with the suitcase. That could be fine. As long it's not a crime, as long as it's just it's not yet an overt. It's not a crime if it's not yet an overt crime. Rather, stammered back there. So it's still in the imagination. There's still no execution. So you're safe. Good. Now, you're not contented of hitting him with the suitcase. You try to insert a traffic cone on his head. Now, you have to have a 360-degree view of your city hall It has to be 360 degree because if you have to zoom it inside, it could just be any other building or infrastructure. You have to see that it's your city hall, and you try to put barricades all over it using the traffic cone. So there are giant traffic cones you want to barricade alongside the city hall, right? So before a person can enter the city hall, they have to go through a giant calculator. So they have to resolve a math solution. Okay, good. Let's go to the next. Now, the next stop is you're going to see Patrick Star, and he's giant, and he's wrestling to a giant calculator, because for a calculator to wrestle, you have to imagine it with hands and feet. So there's wrestling with one another. Now you just can see Patrick Star. Okay, you're not supposed to copy. You have to be true so that you will have a full experience of what the technique is all about. Okay, so Patrick Star is trying to move around. He's being hit with the Justice League. Don't use Avengers, Justice League. So Justice League is composed of Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and the other one I'm not familiar with, but yeah, all of them are Justice League, and they're trying to hit Patrick Star. Ready? Now you have to see the school, a 360 degree of your school, and they visited you. They shook hands with you. Everybody is coming towards you because the Justice League is with you. Yep. You have to be from the proud moment to an embarrassing moment. Your family also went to the school, and they're bringing food. They plan to do a family reunion in your school grounds, but you don't want it. You're pushing them away. You have to see that you're in school, and you're pushing your family away from school. Ready? Next one is that there's a shootout. If you're not familiar with this, definitely not everyone is watching Provinciano, but at least you've heard of it. And you will understand later why we have to use them. So there's a Provinciano cast, and they're trying to have a shootout and trying to protect the family. I think majority of the people in the Philippines have heard of this, even though we don't watch it. But at least you can visualize Cardo Dalisay or in the person of Coco Martin as Provinciano. So you have to be there. You know, like the shootout is trying to protect the family. Because until now he's alive for years. He is deemed not human. So he is being picked up by the Men in Black. So you have to see the Men in Black trying to drag him along with the aliens and stuff. He's being dragged. All of the cast of Provinciano being dragged with the Men in Black. But Men in Black, they think that they're the superior. But the Men in Black were smashed or taken by Transformers because they're much more the higher species in the universe. You can see this Transformer trying to grab Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, right? So yeah, but the new Men in Black International, I think, is with Chris Hemsworth. Yep. It's very good if you're a couch potato and you love to watch things. You're a you love to socialize. You have a lot of friends. You are a person who's doing a lot of things, because you will understand it's going to be an advantage with this technique. Okay, that's it. So we're just having fun. That was just having fun. But totally, what is the connection of this in law school, right? So there's something that we will find out. If you want to explore more how this is used, then that's the time you can also contact us in person. We would love to show you how this is done on the notes and stuff, and how this will be used for long paragraphs. Yes. I'm sure if you're first year, or if you're second year, third year, fourth year, I have expectations. So before we can do the second half, I want to check first if you know the 1987 Constitution or the 1987 articles of the Philippine Constitution. There are 18 of them. At least can you name one to yourself? Yes? Do you memorize them? If I tell you what article is the national economy patrimony, can you answer? Or what article is the Bill of Rights? Yes. And then, for example, if I tell you education, science, sports, technology, arts, and culture and sports. Okay. What if I tell you just memorized? That's a surprise. You thought you were just having fun. But what if I tell you we just memorized the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines? The 18 articles. How's this possible? How's this possible? Okay. The tree, we're not using mnemonics. We cannot just use the first letter of the words because it's not going to totally pull up the whole thought. You have studied, you are aware and familiarized. Brain drain is just going to help you organize the information. Make sure that you can recall it. It's like trigger, or it's like a file. When you file it, you see it, you mark it, you open it, and the whole document gets seen, right? It's like you're bookmarking it on the sides, like your book. You're trying to book them on the sides. Actually, that's not a virtual background. That's really a collection of books now. Evidence that I'm really in my 4th year of law school journey. So you will have to mark them together on the side. So that's the function of this. So for example, when I say tree, the tree was just there to let you remember national territory. And then declaration of principles and state policies. Okay, so declaration of principles and state policies. So you can do, that's why it became principal. So we'll do principal. And then Bill Gates for Bill of Rights. Why do you think passport? Yes, it represents citizenship. Surfer sounds like suffrage. Legs was to give you legislative. Legs. Suitcase makes you look like an executive. Judge for judicial. Traffic cones for Constitutional Commission. City Hall was to represent local government. What is the profession associated to calculator? Accountancy. So accountant. So accountability of public officers. And of course, your Justice League for social justice and human rights. Your school for education, science, and technology, arts, culture, and sports. Family. Provinciano is definitely provisions. And Men in Black for, yes, Men in Black is for amendments. Men in Black. And Transformers for transitory provisions. So there you have it. We are offering programs for law students, and there are 6 sessions program and a 4-session program. Please contact our Facebook page for the amount or how much it is, but please get a screenshot that you have gone through the video gone through the free session so that we can entertain you and make you avail of the existing promotions that we have. This is a 3,000 pesos program or a 6,000 pesos program if you level up to numbers, so we can explain to you the inclusion. But what we guarantee you that this is a one-on-one coaching via online, and it's a live coaching, and we can use your own material we use your material to apply the technique. So there are 8 techniques made available. You can do tabular data, definition of terms, enumeration, especially for example, you want to remember the JAMA, the justifying, executing, mitigating, and aggravating circumstances, and alternative circumstances. All of these would entail you to go zoom in on a specific section or a specific paragraph. Also, for the civil code, the civil law has 4-digit number combination. It's quite heavy. It's good that you can quote what certain article number is, because that already showcases your ability, especially when citing the legal basis. So it depends, right? It depends upon the person. But what is sure? What is sure is that the moment that you have these techniques with you, it gives you also the boost of confidence, because you know that there is a way for you to attack a certain pile of information. So if you have further questions, again, please contact our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/braintrainschool, and you can contact or talk to different coaches. They will be giving you the payment terms and the possible payment terms and what are the packages available. If you wish to talk to a coach, please request their number, directly the number, so that you can discuss further if you have further questions. I hope we're supposed to show you bits and pieces of what is done and how to convert the information, but it is only done when it's a paid assessment. Thank you. Again, this is Coach Amy. I hope you've enjoyed and looking forward to have you in our class. Goodbye.